What's going on, everybody? And welcome to J Sports Seattle. It's been a minute since I made the last video. Been on vacation, and man, these past few weeks, man, been a roller coaster, but it's been a great roller coaster. Apologies if I sound nasally. I'm coming off a cold, but I got a lot to talk about. So let's get right into it. If you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. And without further ado, let's get on to the video. All right. So, man, hold up, let me just, I'll do that later. These Seahawks, man, like, just when you think that, oh man, you know what, it's back to, we're still the same. No, this team finds ways to win. And you know what that reminds me of? This reminds me of the Legion of Boom. This really does. I've been trying, like I've said in previous videos, I've really tried very, very hard to stray away from comparing this current team with the Legion of Boom team, but it's really hard not to. With the way this team plays, with the tenacity, the conviction, and the devotion that this team plays, it's really not hard to make parallels with that 2013, or honestly, that 2012 to 2015 team. And that's all due to Mike Macdonald, man. I mean, I knew the moment that we hired this guy that this dude was going to change this franchise. I immediately knew it. Right now, he has us 12-3, sitting atop not only the NFC West, but the NFC itself. This is just great work by this team, by this coach. But it's just not just Mike Macdonald, the coaching staff. Clint Kubiak has had an up and down season, but I think he's had a good season so far. I think Coach Macdonald needs to be running. He needs to be like in the running for Coach of the Year. He needs to be like because I know like Mike Vrabel's up there. I know potentially Liam Cohen might be up there, potentially Ben Johnson. But to see what Mike Macdonald has done with a team that has really been stuck in mediocrity for these past 3 years, you can't help but just think this guy really knows what he's doing at the age of 38. One of the youngest head coaches in the league, and he has, obviously a team that's known for being pretty good since the turn of the century, but he has his team back to dominance. And obviously we got to see what happens in the playoffs. We clinched the playoff spot for the first time since 2022. So that's a huge congratulations to the team. Very, very happy that we'll be playing in January this year. And man, like I said, this has just been it's been an amazing past few weeks. I'm gonna go through each game, just kind of briefly. I don't want to go into it too much, even though I know this video is gonna be long, but I'll try to keep it, tamed. But like before I get into that, like I said, yeah, like Mike Macdonald, Coach of the Year in my opinion, and man, this guy is going to be the head coach for the Seahawks for a long, long time. Same with John Schneider. He's going to be this GM for a long, long time, 100%. So, but let's get into it. Firstly, in that first of 3 games that was played while I was away, we played the Falcons. We went into Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and just like last year, we put the beat onto these guys. Kirk Cousins had another horrible game against us, and that's just who we are as a defense. This defense is tenacious, and we will capitalize on mistakes. That's how it works. That's how elite defenses work. The thing about this game though is in the first half, everything was kind of stagnant. Obviously, the defense was doing their part, but the offense was not really doing too hot. We only had 6 points. I think we only had 6 first half points that entire first half in that game. But you don't win the game in the first half. In the words of Pete Carroll, can you win the game in the first quarter? No. Can you win the game in the second quarter? No. And that's kind of the same thing that Mike Macdonald has going for this team. You cannot win the game in the first half. You win this game in the second half. And that is exactly what they did against the Falcons. I mean, after that Rashid Shaheed touchdown return, it was foot on the gas. It was just lights out from there on out. We took control of the game, and that's what having an elite special teams can do for your team. Sometimes when your team needs an upbring, an uplift, a surge of energy, that's what that special teams is for sometimes. And right now we are, I think, number 2 in DVOA in terms of special teams play. So this is just amazing to see. And that Rashid Shaheed trade has paid off massive dividends for this team. And I honestly think we already run the trade with that trade. So JSN, he'd had his thing. He had 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sam Darnold had a great game this game. He had that one interception that was iffy, but otherwise he played a great game this game. The rushing game wasn't really that hot, but you know what? We got it done. We did get it done. Let's see. I mean, we did have 129 yards on the ground with 5 yards per carry. That's actually really good as a team. So that is good. And like I said, after that touchdown return from Shaheed in the third quarter, to start the third quarter, it was wraps. It was just basically just to say it. But yeah, that game was amazing, and this game right here showed me why we got this game. I mean, obviously, I've seen many games in the past why we hired Mike McDonald, but this game right here really, and on top of the Rams game, this game really just shows why we got this guy as our head coach. So, kudos to John Schneider for making that hire. Moving on to the Colts, this was a very sloppy game, very messy game. We didn't score a single offensive touchdown that game. It was the 4th time in franchise history that we have won a game without scoring a touchdown. And the defense, I mean, obviously it was against Grandpa Rivers, but Rivers still put up a little bit of a fight. I mean, he only had 120 passing yards and a touchdown and touchdown, but the way he controlled the offense against this defense, even though we only held him to 16 points, he gave us fits. And you saw that against the Niners yesterday on primetime. He dropped 27 on that defense. 44-year-old Philip Rivers dropped 27 points and nearly 300 passing yards on the San Francisco 49ers. So even though they won, it was kind of a shootout for most of the game. So, but like, this is just great to see. I mean, JSN had 113 receiving yards, still leading the league in receiving yards by a very thin margin because of Puka. And yeah, it's just a great. And I think this was a game. No, not this game. I think it was the Falcons game where Imamori got his first career interception. So congrats to him, man. This dude is a future Pro Bowler and a future All Pro. He didn't get it this year. I'll get into the Pro Bowl selections in a bit or later. But Imamori, man, this guy is going to be an All Pro for this team, 100%. And yeah, I mean, like I said, but the thing about this game is these are the type of games we would win. And like I said, in 2013, 2014, these are the type of games we would win. Not going well for the most part, but you find a way to pull it out. Elite teams find ways to win, even if things aren't going the way that they normally do. And that is exactly what happened in this Colts game. And, I mean, we still have, even after the Rams game, we still have, to this day, not allowed a 100-yard rusher in, I think, 24 consecutive games. This defense is elite. I mean, we're talking. I mean, right now it is elite, but we're potentially going to all-time status with this defense. Obviously, there's still the Texans ahead of us, but with the way that this defense has played this year, especially with this D-line playing the way that has been playing, being able to get so much pressure with only rushing 4, we could potentially be entering all-time status with this defense, legendary status. So that is great to see from this game. And like I said, great teams pull it out. And going to, let me go back real quick. And then finally, we go to arguably the best game that the Seattle Seahawks have played since the turn of the decade. This game was magnificent. I mean, obviously the first half wasn't, and like the first 3 quarters wasn't, and even part of the fourth quarter wasn't. But the second half of the fourth quarter and OT, man, was it a time to be a Seahawks fan, man. This team stuck it out. Down 30 to 14, down 16 points with only 8 minutes to go. And guess what? Special teams came and gave the team a lift. Like I said, Rashid Shaheed with a punt return touchdown to bring us within 1 score. That was what solidified the game. As soon as Shaheed took that punt back for a TD, I was like, we're going to win this game. Just because of that. If Rashid did not, I'm going to be honest with you, if Rashid did not return that punt for a touchdown, we would have not won that game 100%. I just don't think we would have. Yes, we probably would have punched it in even if he got tackled at the 10-yard line. Maybe that, but even then that wasn't guaranteed. There were times we went into the red zone, and you saw Sam Darnold, he threw his first red zone pick of the year against the Rams, to Kobe Turner. And, excuse me. This team, man, Sam Darnold, horrible in the first 3, partly the fourth quarters of the game, and then turns it up in the second half of the fourth quarter after that Rashid Shaheed touchdown. Like I said, this team rallies. This team can rally. When you are elite in all three phases, even if one phase is not doing well, in this case, both phases weren't doing well because both the offense and the defense were getting shredded. Special teams came in and saved the day. That is what Super Bowl caliber teams do. They find ways to win when things aren't going their way. And that is exactly what happened in this game. I mean, Matthew Stafford threw for 457 passing yards and 3 touchdowns on our domes in our house. Puka Nacua had 225 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns on 12 receptions. This defense was getting shredded. But you know what? In the fourth quarter, when it mattered the most, they got three straight 3-and-outs to keep this team in the game. That's what elite defenses do. Even when you're facing adversity, even when you're getting your asses handed to, when the game is still there, when the game is still in your hands, in your reach, they stepped up when it mattered most. And that is the reason why I'm comparing this team to a Legion of Boom type defense, because of what we saw in that Rams game. This is like I said, this is by far the best Seahawks game that we have played since the turn of the decade. I just don't think there has been another game that's been better than this game. Division and conference on the line. Down 14, 16 points in the fourth quarter, only 8 minutes left, and you pull off an overtime win. Can you name me another Seahawks game in the past 5 years where we did something like that with such high stakes? You can't. You really cannot. So this right here, I think this win right here is a massive turning point in this franchise and will give this team a lot more confidence moving forward against the Panthers, and especially when we got to face against the Niners Week 18. And I think that game's going to be for the conference. I think it's going to be a repeat of 2019 where we're going to be going. This time we're going to be going into San Fran, and I think we're going to go and take that conference and the division from them. So this was just an amazing game right here. Sam Darnold, I thought, man, we're going to have to move off this guy in the offseason. Nope. This dude stayed tough. He is a trooper. He threw 2 interceptions, and he has short memory. He's like, you know what? I threw 2 interceptions. I don't care. Let me go throw a touchdown. Threw that. It was a little high, but he got it to A.J. Barner on that wide open touchdown. And then in overtime, Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford dicing up the defense and we gave up that touchdown. Sam Darnold responds. Doesn't waver whatsoever. Stays cool, gets us in that red zone, throws a dime to JSN, and then throws a dime to Eric Sauber, who was wide open, which I think was a great play to call by Clint Kubiak. And just, hey, for all the Sam Darnold doubters out there, even if we only make it to the divisional round, let's say we win the first seed and we win the divisional round and we lose a close game against whoever faces us. This is our guy. We weren't doing this with Geno Smith last year. We weren't doing it with Geno Smith in 2023 either. Even in 2022 when Geno had that great year, we only went 9-8. To be fair, we did have a bad defense that year, but even then, you can tell that the play from Geno and the play from Sam is, I wouldn't say night and day, but it's very, very different. And in a good way, in favor of Sam. And just great to see. Finally, Walker, he had an amazing game. He had 100 rushing yards, and I believe he had like 50 or 60 passing yards that game. I mean, this dude's on a contract year, and he hasn't really had much success this season. But doing this against your bitter division rival with the division and conference on the line will definitely give him confidence in these last couple weeks, I feel like, especially heading into the playoffs. So it's great to see. Even though JSN he didn't get 100 receiving yards, he got the game-winning touchdown. He received the game-winning touchdown, and he came through when it mattered most. Even though he was invisible for the first half, he came through when it mattered most, which was the fourth quarter and overtime. So, just great to see. Obviously, we didn't get any pressure. Like I said, our defense got shredded. We didn't get any pressure on Stafford. They just have the best offense in the league. It's more so that they have a legendary offense more than we just have a bad our defense just got shredded. Our defense got shredded, but that's more because they just have a legendary offense. They have the number 1 offense in the league. They put up 37 points. That's what happened. It's just simple as that. I don't think we're going to be allowing this many points against the Panthers next week on Sunday. So, but like I said, the defense, they turned it around, got 3 straight 3-and-outs to give this team a fighting chance. And we really should have put this game in the fourth quarter, but Clint Kubiak, excuse me, Clint Kubiak, like I said, he's up and down this season. He has this as we are the third in points per game scored at like 29.5 points per game scored. And that's great. That's great from Clint Kubiak, putting us in that positions. But like I said, in the past, when it comes to situational football in crunch time, Clint Kubiak kind of seems to shrink a little bit. You saw that a little bit in that fourth quarter when we got 3 straight 3-and-outs and we couldn't do anything after we got that touchdown and 2-point conversion to get us tied. I mean, obviously, we'll see what happens on Carolina, but that just worries me heading into the playoffs. Why are we playing like that? We need to, and I think the difference between like second half, fourth quarter Sam, and then the first 3 quarters of Sam, I think Clint was scheming and play calling to not have Sam lose the game, which is not. You don't ever do that as an offensive coordinator. It does not matter who you have as your quarterback. You do not, unless it's a backup QB going in and things happen. But like when it comes to your starting quarterback, under no circumstance do you call plays to get your quarterback to not lose the game. That is losing football right there. And you can tell that he changed that philosophy midway through the fourth quarter because Sam started airing it out. You cannot do that. So, and that's the reason why I've been iffy about Clint Kubiak, even though he has us as the third best scoring offense in the league. Because of stuff like that. We'll see what happens against the Panthers and the Niners on Sunday, or Niners in Week 18. But that is something to note right there. Like I got to go through the positives over these last 3 weeks, but I got to go through what we can do better, and that is Clint Kubiak needs to call better plays for Sam Darnold. Because if you're just going to hinder Sam Darnold, he's going to do what he did did against the Rams, against the Panthers, and against the Niners. You have to let this dude air it out. That's what made him successful in the first half of the season. Don't go away from that. So, and honestly, if Clint, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't want to do this, but if Clint these past couple weeks cannot do what I just said, I think we got to move off him. I really think we do, and we need to go get like a cream of the crop offensive coordinator, because the goal is to have your quarterback win you the game, not to coast through and then let the defense win. That doesn't work in today's games. You need to have an offense. I understand. Like I said, I understand we have the third best offense in the league, but it's situational football. It's situational football that it is above all. Above all. Like for example, the Chiefs back in 2023, their offense was mid. It was like 16th in the league in points per game. You think, man, you probably got to move off Andy Reid or whoever's calling plays. No, in the playoffs, they did it. They dialed plays that mattered most. They dialed plays so that their quarterback would win the game, where instead of having their quarterback, playing to not lose. And that's what makes Mahomes so great, because he has a great skill set, and Andy Reid takes advantage of it. Clint Kubiak needs to do the same for Sam Darnold, like he did in the first half of the season when Sam was airing it out and was one of the best quarterbacks in the league throughout like the first 10 weeks. So, like I said, Clint, he might be on the hot seat. I do not. You can tell me if I'm overreacting by all means. That you are entitled to your opinion just as much as I am. But I expect greatness. And greatness has to be in all facets, all phases. We have greatness in the special teams. We have greatness on the defense. And we have lots of flashes of greatness on the offense. But if you look at all 3 phases, special teams, defense, and offense, you notice that the offense has been the more talking point of what could hinder this team more than the other 2 phases. And that stems down to play calling. So like I said, Clint has to do better at calling plays for Sam Darnold. I know I'm putting a hat on a hat. I've been talking about this for the past 3 minutes, but that is of utmost importance if we want to make a deep run in this playoffs this year. So, moving on. Right now, with that out of the way, let's get back to the positives, man. We are number 1 in the NFC, man. We are number 1 in the conference. The last time we were number 1 in the conference, I think at this point in the season was... probably 10 years ago, 11 years ago when we were during that. Maybe in 2020 when we went 12-4. Maybe in 2019 when we had that good year as well. But I just don't remember a time where we were the number 1 seed entering week 17 and we're entering the final weeks. I just don't. So, I mean, that's the playoff picture right there. Right now, we are ranked as the number 1 team in the NFL by NFL.com in the power rankings, just ahead of the Patriots and the Bills. The Rams plummeted. I mean, look at the Rams, man. They were, I think they were second. I think they were second, and they dropped all the way to 8th after that loss. They dropped No, they were the first ranked, and they dropped all the way down to 8th because of that loss. And then with the Niners winning against the Colts yesterday, and the Bears winning, and the Jags winning, and the Bills winning, that definitely, and the Patriots, that all bumped them down. So, but right now we are the number 1 ranked team in the NFL power rankings entering Week 17, and you just can't help but be, you just cannot help but be ecstatic with where this team is going. I mean, it says right here, couldn't have imagined vaulting the Seahawks into the top spot after a game in which they allowed nearly 600 total yards and lost a turnover battle 3-0. But here we are. Like I said, even through adversity, elite teams find ways to win. So, just great to see. I mean, obviously we don't have the number 1 seed locked up yet. We can lock it up this week in Week 17, but there needs to be a certain thing that has to happen, and it won't happen probably. We need to win. In order for us to clinch the number 1 seed, we need to win on Sunday against the Panthers, and we need the Rams to lose to the Falcons, and then we need to have the Bears and the Niners tie. So I don't think that's going to happen. I honestly think the Bears are going to lose to the Niners, and I think that week 18 game will come down for the NFC, the number 1 seed in the NFC. But we'll see what happens. But like I said, that's how we can clinch the number 1 seed. And even if we don't clinch the number 1 seed next week, if both the Rams and the Niners lose and we win on Sunday, we clinch the NFC West. So there is that. So even if we don't get the number 1 seed, if the Rams and Niners lose on Sunday and we win, we will win the division. So I'm pretty sure, because let's see. Yeah, we will win the division because we would be 13-3. The Niners would be 11-5. So yeah, we would win the division. But the thing is like, that's the reason why we have to have the Bears and the Niners tie, because even if we were to win on Sunday against Carolina and the Niners lose to the Bears and the Rams lose to the Falcons, the Bears are still in that top spot, or still in the running for the 1 seed, because I think they have a better strength of schedule than we do. So, I mean, if anything, like if you really I feel we are confident that we can go into San Fran and beat them for the 1 seed. And that's why I'm thinking if the Bears do win or do lose, and the Niners are 12-4, obviously and we win next week, obviously that game will be for the division and for the NFC and for the conference. But like I said, even if we were to win and the Niners Rams lose, the Bears are still in the running. So, because if we lose to even if we were to clinch the division next Sunday, if the Bears would be 12-4 entering that week. If we lose to the Niners, the Bears would get the 1 seed. So, well, we'll see what happens though. It's going to be an interesting final 2 weeks for sure, and I'm very, very excited. But yeah, we are the number 1 ranked team in the NFL entering Week 17. Not out of me personally. I didn't think we were going to be the number 1 ranked team. I thought maybe top 5. I had us going 12-5 this year. So I mean, obviously this is it's still possible. I mean, we could drop the final 2. I don't think we will, but 12-5 was my prediction this year, and right now we're potentially looking at 13-4 or 14-3. So great to see, honestly. Better than my prediction, which is great. So that's just awesome to see. But yeah, and then even better news today: the Pro Bowl rosters were announced. The Seahawks, Ravens, Broncos, and Niners all led the way with 6 selections each. The Vikings, Jets, and the Saints were the only teams with 0 selections. Oh man, Vikings, man. Jets, I'm not surprised, and the Saints, I'm not surprised, at least for this season. Jets, I'm never surprised that they don't have any Pro Bowlers because of the Jets. And then the Vikings, I'm not surprised because of what they did to this team and refusing to re-sign Sam Darnold. So, I mean, yeah, look, and let me go to, so here's like the start. I'll go through like the starters. So, Sam Darnold, he's going to be the backup. Matthew Stafford's the starter. Congrats to Sam, man, by the way. Back-to-back years of Pro Bowl nods after having a very, very rough 6-7 years in the league. I mean, you can't help but love the redemption story from him. And that same thing with Geno Smith when he back in 2022 and 23 when he made 2 straight Pro Bowls. You can't help but, like that it's a feel-good story. Obviously, we don't have any running backs. We know our fullback didn't make it. We got JSN and Puka are going to be the starters, which is great to see. Trey McBride starting at the for the Cardinals. We didn't have anybody in the offensive line, although I do think Gray's able. I do think that game against, because on Thursday he allowed his first career. I think he allowed 2 sacks that day against the Rams. So that probably damped him a bit, docked him a bit on potentially getting a Pro Bowl nod. And then DeMarcus Lawrence from the like I'm telling you, man, that signing is outside of Sam Darnold was the best signing that John Schneider made in the offseason. And like I said, John Schneider, he needs to get general manager of the year or executive of the year with what he's done this past offseason to rebuild this team. And then obviously Big Cat. We got Big Cat as a starter at defensive tackle, man. This dude has been playing like an all-pro all year long. And I would be a little upset if he did not get all-pro this year with the way he's played. I think Jalen Carter would get first and he gets second. I think he deserves to get an all-pro nod this year. He has been playing out of his mind. He's been playing out of his mind ever since he came to Seattle. Back-to-back Pro Bowls years. I mean, gotta love it. You gotta love John Schneider, man. You really do. We got Cooper DeJean and J.C. Horn as starters for cornerback, but we did get Devin Witherspoon. 3 straight years of making the Pro Bowl. This, like John Schneider, man. I'm serious. This dude needs to get executive of the year. This was our 5th overall pick 3 years ago, and he's made 3 straight Pro Bowls ever since entering the league. I know Pro Bowls kind of sometimes have lost value a little bit, but it's still, you have to be good to enter the Pro Bowl. I mean, look at all these guys. These are all elite players entering this Pro Bowl. So you just gotta love it. You really do. And then we got Rashid Shaheed as a return specialist. He's probably going to get first team All-Pro this year in the return game because this guy, like I said, has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we had six players make it. I mean, like I said, I just couldn't be any happier with what John Schneider's done with this team, man. I really cannot. Just amazing. And we potentially could get more if we don't make the Super Bowl and another team does, and we have alternates. I love it. I just love it, man. Thank you, John Schneider. Thank you. Let me go to, before I wrap this video up, just going to kind of go over like the playoff seedings. And if the playoff seedings remain the same, I'll kind of go with what would happen if the playoffs were to start today and the current picture holds. All right, that's loading. Excuse me. Sorry, like I said, I've been going over this cold, man. So my voice is like, ugh. All right, so so as of now, we are the 1st seed. Right now, not a 7th seed has not been clinched. If the season ended today, these teams would. Oh, I see. Okay, they're just doing that separate. I don't know why they're saying in the hunt. Probably just because, technically speaking, these guys could end up not making the playoffs. Like the Texans, if they lose their final 2 games, they could potentially not make it. The Steelers. I mean, the Ravens are 7-8. Technically speaking, I guess the Ravens could come back and win the division. So, and same with the Panthers. If the Panthers lose to us and then lose to Tampa Bay the following week, the Tampa Bay will win the division. The Packers, they could potentially not make it. I mean, if they drop these final 2 games and go 9-7-1, which is just a bummer because in my parlay I had these guys winning. In futures parlay, I had these guys winning more than 10 games. So I hope they do for my parlay's sake. But let's see. I mean, yeah. Right now, if the playoffs were to start today, obviously we would get the bye. And then the Niners would face the Panthers, and then the Eagles would face the Rams, would go to Philadelphia, and then the Packers would go to Chicago. So that's what would happen. And then obviously how the 1 seed faces the lowest remaining seed. So in my opinion, I think that would be the Rams because even though the Rams are the 6th seed, they are basically a 1 seed with the way they played. So we would probably face the Rams in a rematch in the divisional round, in which that is a game right there where we can truly separate ourselves from these past few years under Pete Carroll with not being able to beat Sean McVay. So, but that's assuming that everything holds. In my opinion, I do think that we will end up getting the 1 seed. We will get that bye. I do think the Bears will stay at the 2nd. I do think Obviously the Eagles will stay at third. I just think these first 3 seeds will remain the same. And then obviously it's going to be between the Panthers and the Buccaneers for the 4th seed. Which either way, I just don't think they're going to win a playoff game. That's just going to be a first round exit. That has first round exit written all over it for either the Panthers or the Buccaneers, especially if they face the Niners or the Rams. Like the Buccaneers are just too injured, and the Panthers are the Panthers. So even though they're somewhat decent this year, they're still the Panthers. So, yeah, I mean, we got 3 NFC West teams like in the playoffs this year. Like you could even if you're about division pride, hey, that's good for you, man. But obviously we here in Seattle, man, the majority of us we hate the Niners, we hate the Rams, and we want to see these guys not make the playoffs every single year. But obviously that's not happening this year. So, but yeah, I mean, we're in a really good spot. And honestly, even if we were to not get the 1 seed, if let's say we drop to the 5th seed, we would be going to Tampa or Panthers, and that I wouldn't say that's an easy W, but that's still an easy pass to the NFC Championship game. Because if we're the 5th seed and the Rams are the 6th seed and the Niners are the 1 seed, if the Rams go to the Niners, we would be facing, and we would probably face who would we face? We would face the Bears, or the winner of the Packers game. We would beat either one of those teams. We're in the NFC Championship. It would be a showdown between the Seahawks and either the Niners or the Rams for the Super Bowl. So I do think that we are heading towards an NFC Championship appearance this year, whether we are the 1 seed or the 5th seed, although you'd prefer to do that if you're the 1 seed. So, but yeah, we're in a really good spot, and man, I'm excited to see Seahawks football in January this year, man. This team has shown me over and over again that this team is tough and can win and can potentially make a run in this playoffs. So I'm very, very excited. So, but yeah, I think that's all I have for this video. Definitely was going to be a longer one since I haven't made a video in 3 weeks. I'll be making a preview video for the Panthers game later on this week, probably either Friday or Saturday, so stay tuned for that. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day, and go Hawks, go Mariners, and go Kraken.